From Mount Hope in Providence to Bristol's Mount Hope Bay, we are building bridges. Bridges between people and solutions. Bridges between hope and future. We are building communities. Communities of hope. Come work with us. To learn more, go to communitydrivennews.org or find us on social media.
Okay, everybody. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Building Communities of Hope. This is an event that we are putting together to make an official launch of our program. And mostly is a celebration of the work that we have been doing the last 2 years building this program. But also, I want to make sure that we have everybody here, specifically trying to have a good time, even if we have to acknowledge that today might not be the best day. So this event is a celebration of our work and of our team and our partners. But we also have to acknowledge that today is a day following a terrible tragedy in Texas with the loss of 21 lives, 19 of them elementary school children. Since the last time I checked, I hope the numbers have not increased since then. But sorry, I was just trying to keep track of everything here. This is the first time I tried to manage the whole thing by myself, and I have a few students helping me out. But I think that everything should be fine by right now. So we have our team here, and we were going to get to introduce them in a minute. Before we do that, just need to say a few words about why we decided to go on with the event after the tragedy yesterday. And it's mostly because we really believe that the work that we do here is the type of work that will one day help with situations like this. Is changing not only the way we do journalism, but the way we work as a society, that we function as a society by changing how we represent ourselves. And journalism is a big part of it. So for those who don't know who we are and what we're doing, my name is Bernardo Motta. I'm an assistant professor of journalism at Roger Williams University. And Communities of Hope is not just a journalism program, it's something different. We are not just a news outlet or university journalism program. We are what our communities need us to be. We will provide training and we will pay people to get that training, but we are also here to support local media outlets serving communities that have been erased, forgotten, and harmed by mainstream media. So we are trying to fix a problem that is a traditional problem with mainstream commercial media by also doing a little bit more on the sense of not just bringing information back to those communities, but also bring services and economic opportunities too. So like our partners, ecoRI News, the Rhode Island Latino News Network, and the Rhode Island in Color, we are here to help those communities access education, to will have access to essential civic information about their public lives and to those economic opportunities that I mentioned. But above all, we are here to serve them with what they need. Big part of what we do here is we are community-driven, solutions-oriented, transformative journalism organization. That means that by being community-driven, we talk to our communities to find out what they need. And it's more specifically, we might try to find out what they need, not just talking to them, but with formal and informal assessments. We want to know what kind of service and information they need from us so we can provide that. What the priorities the community have, so we can do the investigative part and bring the information to the communities. We are solutions oriented because we believe in giving back. We believe that journalism has a long history of reporters parachuting into communities like the ones that we were working with and taking their stories, exposing their problems, and leaving them exposed without sharing the benefits generated by those stories to the news organizations. So they're selling the stories, they're making money out of it, but they are not giving back to the community. And I think solutions journalism is a really good way for us to do that. We share the money that we get, we share the data that we collect, we share the economic opportunities through fellowships, paid internships, paid training and education to community members, and through the solutions that we bring to the community by investigating those solutions and bringing that information back to the community in a way that they can learn from each other about the solutions that they are working on in the communities and the solutions they're working that other people are working outside the communities too, and try to connect them. In my experience, my research, I've been doing this for 20 years now. And since I started talking about this new approach to journalism, since 2003, more specifically. So 19 years since I published my first publication about changing the way we do journalism. And people have been working with this for a long, long time. And the American Black press has been working with this since the 19th century, for example. But I've been seeing that a lot of my work in the beginning was very isolated. And nowadays it's not anymore. Nowadays, we have networks. We have groups of people who are really trying to do better journalism. Groups of people who are working with concepts like engagement, solutions, solidarity, social justice, reparations, and constructive journalism. And a lot of them working find ways that journalism can help communities build the future the communities want for themselves, and not based on some idea that someone else is imposing on them. So I'm going to, well, I actually have a very short list of people to thank before we start this program. And that's just about 2,000 names. So of course, I'm not going to read all of them. I'm just going to mention a few networks that we work with. I'm going to thank the networks and thank the institutions, but know that there are very specific individuals in those institutions that have been extremely helpful to us. First, I would like to thank the entire community here at RWU University, who not only hired me to do this job, they believed in what I was trying to do, and they actually supported me doing this. This is not that situation where they say, hey, yes, you go ahead and do your work, but we're just going to watch. No, they have been actively providing support in every single step of the way, and I really appreciate it. I specifically want to mention the Community Engagement Center. So thank you, Alan Hans, Casey Ferrar, and Patrick Miega, our Department of Media Design and Communication. And special thanks to our amazing administrative manager, Beth Cook, who joined us last year, and she started working with me with 5 students, and suddenly we had 25 people working in this organization, and she has been amazing, doing a lot more than what her work is actually supposed to be. So thank you to all of you. I would also like to thank the Society of Environmental Journalists, the Gather Network, the Center for Cooperative Media, the Tiny News Network, the Listening Post Collective, the Agro-Journalism Program at the University of Oregon, and the Solutions Journalism Academy, the investigative reporters and editors, the RWU Society, and our funders, the Hessenfeld Foundation, the Davis Foundation, the Diversity and Inclusion Fellowship at Roger Williams University, and very especially, one big thanks to the Solutions Journalism Network, because without them, I wouldn't be here, our students wouldn't be here, and wouldn't be even be having this event. So we are incredibly lucky and thankful to have Julia Hotz, Community Manager for the Solutions Journalism Network, with us today to talk about what allowed us to be here launching the Communities of Hope, is the Solutions Journalism Lead Fellowships fellowship, in which I was a lead fellow last year. And through that network, I was able to learn a lot from my colleagues in the fellowship, got a lot of the support of the people in the Solutions Journalism Network, and the financial ability to actually hire our first 2 interns. Everything that we have here started with the Solution Journalism Network. I know that a lot of people watching us on YouTube right now are probably clapping and because they know that Julia Hotz, anyone who has been touched by the Lead Fellowship, know that Jules is not only the mentor for that group, but also the glue that keeps us together, and a hell of a friend that helped us every single step of the way. So thank you, Julia. And we'll just let you talk to people about the Solution Journalism Lead Fellowship. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bernardo. I mean, right back at you. And so well said about today. It feels really hard to gather today for lots of reasons. It's been a really tough 24 hours. It's been a tough week. It's been a tough month, a tough year. And it also feels very right that if we are going to gather, you know, it's to put our hope forward and put our efforts forward in creating a journalism ecosystem that, you know, tries to prevent this tragedy, that tries to listen to people at harm, and that tries to build a better world than the one that we're currently living in. I'm just going to say a few quick words about the Solutions Journalism Network and the Fellowship, and of course, Bernardo and Communities of Hope, which is that we're an organization started in 2013 with a vision to transform the news to be more focused on solutions. The idea is if we only and always hear about problems all the time, we don't know about the possibilities for progress. And so what started in 2013 as these 2 New York Times columnists putting out solutions-focused articles every week in their column has become this really wonderful international network where, as Bernardo said, our role has kind of been to be more the mentors and, you know, the people that have the watering can so that people like Bernardo can be the seed and grow something beautiful in their communities. And that's what our Lead Fellowship does. Our Lead Fellowship is a chance for entrepreneurs from all around the world. I mean, Bernardo was in a group with people from Costa Rica and Nigeria and, you know, just truly all over the world, India, to grow their own solutions-focused publications and podcasts and communities. And what it really thrives on is the energy and passion of and heart, really, of entrepreneurs like Bernardo. I see you nodding because if you know Bernardo, you know he has all those things to make those ideas a reality. And so in this 1-year fellowship, we go through lots of different bumps along the way. We hear from professional development speakers, but most importantly, we try to workshop with one another. And so I'm so glad that Communities of Hope is launching today. It's become this beautiful, beautiful multi-layered project, many months in the making, and really embodying what I personally feel to be true about what needs to happen for the future of journalism. You know, number one, of course, it needs to be, I think, solutions focused. Number two, I think it needs to be extremely collaborative. And just by the list of, you know, organizations Bernardo thanked at the beginning, you know, it seems like this is really at the heart of Communities of Hope. It needs to be working with the communities being covered. And last but not least, it really needs to have a place for our future journalists, which is all the students. And so it's so exciting to see how this has come together in a really creative, unique project that embodies all of what I believe to be so essential for the future of journalism. And I'm so proud of you, Bernardo, and your whole community for such a beautiful launch today. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Jules. Thank you for the kind words. And thank you for everybody in the Solution Journalism Network for all that you have done in the past 10 years. And I think I can say that safely because I was working on this area for 10 years before the Solution Journalism Network appeared, and it was very isolating work, meaning I was trying to do those things all by myself, and then the Solution Journalism Network appeared and started connecting, and then other organizations started appearing too. So the Center of Cooperative Media Together, and a bunch of other organizations that some of them I even learned through the Solution Journalism Network, starting putting this work together, not in isolation, not just these newsrooms working with themselves, but for all of these groups working together to build a new, better journalism. So thank you very much, Jules. I really appreciate that. Let me just unpin this. And now I want to actually call well, our main partner in this work from the beginning is the ecoRI News Network. We have our representative here, Joanna Detz, who is the publisher for, the founder and publisher for ecoRI News. We have been working with them since the beginning on a bunch of different projects. And one of the projects that we have together is a podcast called Eco Talk that we have been producing with Frank Carini and our students. And I just want to ask Joanna to say a few words about the new series that they are launching today, not today, but yesterday, and coming as a eco justice for all. So, hi, Joanna.
Hi, thanks. It's good to see all of you, familiar faces again. I just wanted to say that we were really just like so thrilled when Bernardo, when you approached us to be like one of the inaugural newsrooms in this cohort in the Communities of Hope, because we're a very small organization trying to do the work, and to have a network and of like talented young people, student journalists to call on. It's like having 3 extra newsrooms. So it's really wonderful what you've done, and just so thrilled with the work that the students have done this year. As you mentioned, the podcast, which we just got the first cut the other day, and we're thrilled to have listened to it, and hope that we can keep this going. The podcast itself is going to be part of that series you mentioned called Eco Justice for All. It's an in-depth environmental justice series that's being spearheaded by Frank Carini, our senior reporter, who's really going into the communities and environmental justice communities in Rhode Island, and examining all the ways in which different systems operate or fail to operate in communities that are considered environmental justice communities. So it's thank you for sharing your screen. Yeah, we just launched the series. It's 4 stories so far, with the intention of going to 15 stories. And it really is that community work of showing up and trying not to be extractive, trying to listen. And we don't see this as a standalone series. This is an ongoing work that, the series is highlighting, but we need to keep showing up, and ultimately with Communities of Hope, providing tools to community members to participate more fully in telling their story. Because, as journalists, many of us don't live in the communities that we're covering all of the time. And so the most authentic stories are those that are told by community members. So just really excited about the work that has been done and that we're going to do together in the future. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Joe. We really appreciate this partnership. We really appreciate the partnerships that we are building. As Jules said right before, that collaborative work is essential for especially in a state like ours. It's a very, very small state, but at the same time, it's a state that's so varied with so many different areas and different groups of people and communities that unless we have people in each one of those communities doing the work for themselves, we cannot accomplish what we want to accomplish, which is really giving those communities the power over their narratives. So I think this concept of equal justice for all is perfect for what we do. We have a long tradition here at Roger Williams to do environmental justice reporting with my colleague, Dr. Paula Prado before me. And now together we are building this with ecoRI. And I think that's a great partnership. So now I just want to actually ask our students who are going to take you over this little trip. I'm going to be sharing my screen too, but we have Rachel and Jack who are going to be introducing you to what we do as Community of Hope and some of the work we have produced lately. Rachel, Jack.
Hello to all our communities. My name is Rachel Devarakis, and I'm the senior reporter and host of Communities of Hope Path to Reparations podcast.
And I am Jack Velas, reporter, producer, and designer for EcoTalk, the environmental justice podcast that we are previewing today with ecoRI News.
We're here to introduce a few of our colleagues and team members, including Frank Carini, who is the senior reporter for EcoTalk and ecoRI News. He couldn't be here because he is working on Eco Justice for All. And of course, we have Joanna Detz, the publisher of ecoRI News, here with us.
And some of our Communities of Hope's team members are here, and we will ask them to wave to the camera if they can. Our general manager, Brianna Verissimo, our news managers, Emily Rosen and Luke Brennan.
Our reporters and producers include me, Rachel Devarakis, Emily Devarakis, Jack Avilas, Sam Elwell, Shannon Braley, Jocelyn Jackson, and Will Nichols.
And our creative team of designers, artists, and web developers, Jordan Bayless, Anika Irene, Kristen Osborne, Grace McCarthy, Zach Cullens, and Haley Woods.
And our public relations team include Tori Mellinson, Christian Osborne, Grace Dolan, and Gianna Ferraro.
Our researchers and producers, Faithlin Norman, Janae Roman Stewart, and Anna Swansea.
And our associated editors, Kaylee Pugliese and Chris Antrim.
And our amazing administrative team provided by Roger Williams University, the Center for Community Engagement, and the Department of Media, Design and Communication, Casey Ferrara, Petrea Comiga, and Beth Cook.
And that guy who's talking to you earlier, we don't actually know what he does around here, but it pays the bills, so Bernardo Motta.
Now we want to focus on what we have been doing for nearly 2 years.
First, we'll be sending out a newsletter called Building Communities of Hope in June. So if you would like to keep up with what we are doing, you can subscribe right on the main page of our website.
And here's our website, a collaboration of our creative and public relations team under the leadership of Jordan Bayless. And we also brought in Haley Woods, who just graduated in graphic design, to make sure we had everything ready for today.
We're still working on all the features, but the website already has most of the information you need to start getting to know our work and to get in contact with us for collaborations, partnerships, jobs, and training.
And speaking of training, we are working with the Society of Professional Journalists to offer the very first Summer High School Journalism Institute in July. You can check the information about the workshops here and start planning for next year, as this year is already full.
We'll also start offering paid training to community members, high school teachers, professional journalists, and journalism students of all levels starting in the fall. These trainings will focus on developing local newsrooms using our community-driven, solutions-oriented, transformative journalism approach. They will also include training in multimedia production, data journalism, and technology-based resources for small newsrooms.
And here's a little taste of 2 out of 3 podcasts we are launching this summer. The first one is a co-production between our teams at ecoRI News and our Communities of Hope program. EcoTalk is a podcast developed by Frank Carini and now is produced by our team under his mentorship. We are rebooting it with the very first episode being launched on June 14th, but we have a short preview for you here.
Welcome to Eco Talk, a discussion about Southern New England's economy, ecology, and ecosystems, hosted by Shannon Braley and Sam Elwell. We took a long hiatus, but now we're back and ready to tackle the most pressing issues in environmental and climate justice in Rhode Island. Eco Talk is a production of ecoRI News and their Communities of Hope program at Roger Williams University. EcoTalk is a collaborative environmental justice podcast that reports on pressing issues in the South New England area. For EcoTalk's first episode, students at Roger Williams University, working for Communities of Hope, looked into the environmental impacts of industries in Washington Park, Providence.
Washington Park is a lower-income neighborhood in the Port of Providence whose community is impacted by industrial facilities nearby. Landfills, metal production companies, chemical plants, and manufacturers all produce pollutants that are known to be harmful to human health. Current concerns include water contamination, toxic metal dust in the air, chemical air pollutants, and fossil fuel consumption.
Now, our second podcast of the summer is called Communities of Hope, Path to Reparations, a podcast produced, reported, and edited by our Communities of Hope team, led by me, Rachel Devaricus, my sister Emily, and our news manager, Luke Brennan.
Path to Reparations tells a story of urban redevelopment in the city of Providence. The redevelopment plans throughout the history of the city and have torn apart communities of color in the neighborhoods of Fox Point, Lippet Hill, West Elmwood, and Upper South Providence. The stories of the families affected by displacement have been buried. This podcast aims to uncover them and share the truth of what has really happened in the city. All historical audio used in this podcast is from WPRI archives at the Rhode Island Historical Society.
Here is Communities of Hope, Path to Reparations.
They came in and they tore down our house. And I was a little devastated by that. When we were forced to move, I used to go back to that house every other day and just sit in a vacant house.
Welcome to Path to Reparations, a podcast exploring the past, present, and future impacts of urban redevelopment in Providence, Rhode Island. I'm your host, Rachel Devaricus.
Jefferson Fordham, the dean of the University of Pennsylvania Law School, has said that there is no neutrality in urban renewal. Urban renewal officials can either promote or they can inhibit the concentration of minority groups into small areas.
Urban redevelopment, or urban renewal, is defined as land development used to address urban decay. This includes the clearing out of slum-blighted areas in inner cities. Following World War II, there was a push for urban redevelopment throughout the country, and Providence was no different. The passage of the Housing Act of 1949 in the federal government, the Community Redevelopment Act of 1946, and the Slum Clearance and Redevelopment Act of 1950 in Rhode Island allowed the city to move forward with renewal plans.
The city of Providence examined the Lippet Hill area in 1950, that's 9 years ago, and they discovered that clearing the old structures and repairing the surrounding neighborhood would cost in the vicinity of $5 million. Well, after several years of planning, a program was developed, and in cooperation with the federal government, in which the federal government will pay 2/3 of the cost, a program for Lippet Hill was established. Now, the money is available. The next thing is to find out what to do with the cleared land. Well, this problem was taken to the master plan by the Providence Redevelopment Agency and integrated into the master plan. The new
So thank you, everyone. I hope you will listen to the full episodes on our website or through ecoRI. We will be posting them on all major podcast platforms as well.
Now to talk about our work going forward, here's Bernardo Motta again.
Hey. Thank you, Rachel, and thank you, Jack. As you can see, this is the kind of work we're doing, that our students are doing. It's both historical, it's a reparative. We're really trying to get something back to the communities, bringing those communities that were literally pushed aside physically in history and today through the environmental justice issues, and try to bring them back to the mainstream, or bring them to the mainstream for the first time sometimes, to have to participate in the decision making about their futures. Couple of things that we are going to be doing moving forward is right now we mentioned that we have the SPJ Summer Institute for high school students, Summer Institute in Journalism for high school students. And from that group, we already have a few students, and probably we'll have more later, who are going to be become correspondents for our podcast and for our Communities of Hope site. They're going to be reporting from their own communities in New England directly to our podcast in the topics that they are going to find out what their communities need. Linked to that project, we also starting, and we already have a conversation with a few potential partners about building a training system for high school high school teachers who are media managers. So those teachers who actually manage their high schools, newspapers, TV stations, broadcasts, radio, and do any kind of news programming. We are going to start offering fellowships for those teachers to be trained in community-driven solutions journalism, and also offer training in data and multimedia production, looking for this type of work and how you work with communities, with local communities, to report on their own needs. So we are going to be starting this work soon. We have in our website, I'm sorry, I have to share this again. So we have on our website I know we have it, but apparently it's not here yet. But we have someone already publishing this. We have a calendar of events that we are publishing. So anytime people want to know what we're doing, oh, there you go. We just need to refresh the page. So today we have this, and later in July, we'll have the Northeast High School Journalism Institute of SPJ, and some of our students in Communities of Hope are going to be working with those students. And I'm going to be there providing training too. But moving forward, we're going to start working not only with high school teachers and students, but that's going to be the first step. We are also going to be offering training for community members. We want to work with local organizations. So if you are a local organization who wants to get training in community-driven solutions journalism, data journalism, multimedia production for your communities, please do contact us. You'll have the form here, but you can also contact us on social media. We have our social media already set up on this page, and you can contact me directly too through BMOTTA, so Motta at RWU.edu. So if you're looking for any kind of particular training in journalism or in media production, we want to work with you, and we are getting enough support that we will be able to offer trainings for free, or even paid trainings for community members through fellowships. So community members can apply for those fellowships. We'll pay you to get trained first, and we will support your work. For professional journalists, we also want to say that if you're a professional journalist, especially in Rhode Island, and you want to get trained, we can also help you. But also, as you get trained, we can also help you get paid, not only by doing the training with us for the fellowship, but also by publishing our stories and helping you get published in local media, preparing your pitches, working with you in the stories until they're good to go. So you get paid to produce the stories, and you get paid once the story is published by the media outlet that we are going to find out, connect you with. So these are some of the options we are doing here. Another thing that we are going to be doing is we want to connect our local diaspora communities in Rhode Island, which are many. Rhode Island is a very diverse state, even being so small, to their countries of origins. We are looking for partnerships in different countries. We started with Cabo Verde. So if you are a member of the Cabo Verde community in Rhode Island and you want to start producing news that will be distributed in Cabo Verde, at the same time, we are going to be getting news from people in Cabo Verde, from the University of Santiago in Cabo Verde, to be distributed here. Something that we hope to get produced by the end of the year. But if you are in any other communities in Rhode Island, we want to talk to you too. We want to work with you. We are working with the RI Latino News Network to get more in contact. We're working with RI News to get in contact with those communities, and we are going to be working with RI in Color to get in contact with those communities, to connect them not only with the news that they need, but also to get information from their countries of origin too. We also are looking for specific communities in Rhode Island, so disability communities, communities of color, indigenous communities, and communities of people who have been incarcerated at some point in their lives, or they're currently incarcerated. We are going to be reaching out to our partners. We have a few other organizations who are already willing to work with us, and we're going to start building training for them, for refugees, and for people who are coming here to Rhode Island and might not have an easy access to jobs or to work in general, and they can do this work and get paid, get a job. At the same time, they are learning a new profession, or sometimes they are going to be using their previous education to enhance our ability to inform the public. That's, I think, most of what we are doing. We are probably going to be doing a lot more. We're doing this summer. We have a small team of students who are going to be working through the summer, getting information from the communities, working with them and trying to find out what the priorities are. We're going to build community needs assessments from that, and we are going to start reporting with those communities in those priorities that we find from them. So I want to thank all of you who are here. I want to also send a special thanks to the Providence Culture Equity Initiative, and to Ray Two Hawks Watson, who introduced me to some of the communities that we are working with. And I think that's important work that they are doing. And I really appreciate the fact that they embrace our work, embrace our students. I want to send a specific thank you to Drs. Brian Hendrickson and Paula Prado for the support in putting and giving us opportunities to work with the community in Providence and here in Bristol. And finally, I want to say thank you to our students. Some of them are graduating this semester. We are losing, not losing because they are going to be around once you start working with Communities of Hope. I won't let you go. I'm kidding, but the point is we are always here for all of you, for our students, Rachel and Emily, who are who just graduated. They're not graduating anymore, they're just have graduated. Tori Melanson, Kristen Osborne, Gracie Dolan, and anyone else graduating? I think that's a lot already. Those are really big shoes that we are going to have to fill in. We are going to be working with new students. As we mentioned, we already have 25 people now working with us in Communities of Hope. We are going to be not working with these students particularly right now, but we are going to be working with students, former students who just joined us for this event, but also we hope to keep working with them, like Kaylee Pugliese and Haley Woods, who is working on our website. And finally, I also want to thank our original team, because when I came here to Rhode Island 2 years ago during the pandemic, and we had this whole new situation. We have a few students working from mostly online, and we had a group of students of 5 students in a classroom working with a new professor who just came from Florida with some crazy big idea saying, hey, how about we do this from scratch? We don't have any support right now. We don't have any money. We don't have any thing that we can use to build this, but we are going to build this together, and we will find out what this is going to be. So I want to really thank all of them, Kappa Loyola, Isabella Gentile, Megan and Jenny, and especially someone who's with us today, Luke Brennan, who was our one of our first hires in this program, and he's now one of our news manager. And I just want to point that out, that he has helped us a lot. And after my own heart, he's someone who works a lot behind the scenes. So many times we don't see what he's doing, but he's always there helping us get things done. And I also want a special thanks to all of the students who are here today on this cast, and some of them who couldn't be here because some of them are sick and facing other things that they have to face at this time. But this is because of you. As much as I can say that we are working for our communities and for the people that we work with, this is you. This is your work. This is what you do, and this is what you build. So when we talk about building communities of hope, it's not just building the communities outside, it's building the communities inside. It's the work that you are doing in transforming Roger Williams University, is the work that you are doing in transforming journalism. And I came up with this idea when I got here, and it seemed like, hey, we're just going to make journalism better. And now here we are making journalism better. So I know this is a big ask for students who at the time were just starting in journalism, but all of you stepped up, all of you are here, and some of you are graduating from this program. So all of you watching out there who are looking for the best journalists, public relations, designers, web developers in the business, because they are here working with us, being trained in this approach, make sure that you get in contact. I'll make sure that we can find someone who will fit with your organization really well. And that's all that we have for today. So thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate special thanks for Joanna and Jules who came here and talked to us, and for all of you watching live on YouTube. We are going to post the recording here on the website as soon as we get it edited from the beginning. And keep us with us, meaning we have a newsletter coming, we have the social media, we have all the work that we're building. And I have to say, it's a lot of work, but our students are amazing, our partners are amazing, and all of you are amazing for doing this. And we are going to get all of this done. So thank you very much. And I really appreciate everything that all of you has done for us. And now you can see this is where we start. So this is just the beginning, and you will be hearing a lot more from us. Thank you very much.
From Mount Hope in Providence to Bristol's Mount Hope Bay, we are building bridges. Bridges between people and solutions. Bridges between hope and future. We are building communities. Communities of hope. Come work with us. To learn more, go to communitydrivennews.org or find us on social media.